the global economy just stopped breathing. Not metaphorically, not theoretically. In one of the most dramatic geopolitical moves in modern history, Iran has taken action that experts have warned about for decades. It has effectively blocked the Strait of Hormuz. And with that single move, nearly 30% of the world's seaborne oil supply has been disrupted. Think about that. This is not a delay, not a temporary slowdown. This is a chokehold on one of the most critical energy arteries on Earth. Within just 72 hours, oil tankers from Saudi Arabia, UAE, Iraq, Kuwait, and Qatar have halted. One of the world's most important shipping lanes, only about 21 miles wide at its narrowest, is now at the center of a global crisis. Markets reacted instantly. Oil prices surged. Trading floors across the world saw panic-like movements. Governments entered emergency meetings. Military forces were placed on high alert. And now, the world is watching, waiting for what happens next. Why this matters so much? The Strait of Hormuz is not just a waterway. It is the lifeline of global energy. Every day, around 17 to 21 million barrels of oil pass through it. That's roughly 1/5 of global consumption. Countries like Japan, India, China, and South Korea depend heavily on this route. Any disruption here doesn't stay local, it spreads globally. Fuel prices rise. Transportation costs increase. Food becomes more expensive. Inflation spikes. And that ripple effect is already beginning. What actually happened? The crisis didn't begin with missiles or explosions. It began with a warning. Iran's leadership made a statement suggesting it could neutralize maritime routes used against it. Within hours, military activity followed. Fast attack boats, naval units, and mine-laying vessels moved into position. Tankers were warned not to proceed. Shipping lanes became effectively unusable. No large-scale combat. No official declaration of war. But the result was the same. The strait was shut down. Iran claims this is a defensive move, a response to economic pressure and sanctions. The United States and its allies call it an act of aggression. And in the middle of these conflicting narratives, the global economy is caught in the crossfire. The military reality. On paper, the United States has overwhelming naval power. But the Strait of Hormuz is not open ocean. It is narrow, restricted, and extremely dangerous in conflict. Large oil tankers can't maneuver easily. Warships face limited movement. And Iran has spent decades preparing for exactly this scenario. It has built an asymmetric defense system, small fast boats, mines, coastal missiles, all designed to overwhelm larger forces in tight spaces. One of the biggest threats is naval mines. They are cheap, hard to detect, and incredibly effective. Even a few mines can shut down an entire shipping lane. Clearing them takes time, and doing it under threat makes it even harder. That means reopening the strait is not as simple as sending ships. It could take weeks, not days. The economic shock. Oil prices are already rising sharply. Experts warn that if the blockade continues, prices could reach $140 to $160 per barrel, or even higher. What does that mean for everyday people? Petrol prices go up, transport costs increase, food becomes more expensive, inflation rises. And the hardest hit are always ordinary households. This isn't just about oil, it's about the cost of living worldwide. Factories, farms, logistics, everything depends on energy. When energy becomes expensive, everything becomes expensive. Why Iran did this? To understand this move, you have to go back decades. Iran has long seen the Strait of Hormuz as its strongest leverage point. Whenever pressure increases, sanctions, military threats, or diplomatic breakdowns, Iran signals it can disrupt global energy supply. This time it followed through. Iran argues that economic sanctions imposed on it are a form of economic warfare. Its economy has suffered significantly in recent years. Currency collapse, high inflation, and restricted trade. From its perspective, this move is not aggression, it's leverage. A way to force negotiations. A way to say, if we suffer economically, the world will feel it too. Two possible futures. Right now, the situation stands at a crossroads. There are two main paths forward. Scenario 1. Diplomatic resolution. In this scenario, global pressure leads to negotiation. Countries like China and European nations step in as mediators. Iran agrees to reopen the strait in exchange for concessions, possibly sanctions relief or renewed nuclear talks. Oil flows resume. Markets stabilize. But the underlying tensions remain unresolved. The crisis ends, temporarily. Scenario 2. Military escalation. In this scenario, diplomacy fails. The United States and allies decide to take action to reopen the strait. This could involve clearing mines targeting Iranian military assets, escorting tankers. Iran responds. Missile strikes, naval attacks, regional escalation through allied groups. What began as a blockade could turn into a full-scale regional conflict. And once that starts, controlling it becomes extremely difficult. Global power dynamics. This is not just a US-Iran issue. Other major powers are watching closely. China depends heavily on Gulf oil. It wants stability, but also wants to avoid strengthening US influence. Russia benefits from higher oil prices. It has less incentive to push for quick resolution. Europe faces energy pressure. Every country has different interests, and that makes the situation even more complex. What you should watch next. In the coming days, a few key signals will determine where things go. Any military engagement in the Strait, statements from Iran about negotiation conditions, US decisions on military action moves by China, or international organizations, oil price trends, and market reactions. These indicators will reveal whether the crisis is cooling down or heating up. The bigger picture. The Strait of Hormuz may be just 21 miles wide, but what happens there affects the entire world. This crisis is not just about oil. It's about power, about control, about how far nations are willing to go to protect their interests. History shows that moments like this can go in either direction. Some end with diplomacy, others spiral into conflict. The difference often comes down to decisions made under pressure in a very short window of time. Final thought. Right now, the world is in that window. The next 48 to 72 hours could shape global politics, the economy, and energy markets for years. The Strait of Hormuz is closed. The world is watching. And what happens next will matter to everyone.